In my experience, I've found that men that often initiate with a coffee date, somewhere along the lines, I realize that he has a 50-50 mentality. Or let's say I didn't discover that he has a 50-50 mentality. I realized that he was not generous.
Right. Hey guys, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria Davids, and I'm back again with another interesting video. If this is your first time from joining, you're welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up, okay? So now there's a conversation going on TikTok about, and ladies came out to talk about it, that when a man take you on your first date and take you to a coffee shop, is he really interested in the relationship, or is just very minimal? Is it bare minimum, or is supposed to be accepted? That is what ladies are talking about on TikTok, and I'm excited to share with you all today. So let me play this first creator's video down to the end, then we'll come back and talk about it.
In my experience, I've found that men that often initiate with a coffee date, somewhere along the lines, I realized that he has a 50-50 mentality. Or let's say I didn't discover that he has a 50-50 mentality. I realized that he was not generous. Dealing with men that for some reason initiated or made the suggestion of a coffee date is the suggestion, because it does not mean that I actually went on a coffee date with them, right? Because whenever a guy suggests a coffee date, I prefer something a bit more intimate. Coffee dates feel very professional and businesslike. It's very weird. Are you trying to discuss the network, or are you trying to get to know me in a more intimate setting? So I would still go ahead and suggest dinner, and they'll be cool with it. And fast forward, it's realizing we're not aligned. And I think I just realized, you know what? Maybe those men are initiating with coffee dates because he's expressing to you who he is and how he likes to operate. So if you're a woman that's okay with 50-50, like, be honest, if you're a woman that's okay with 50-50, it's okay to accept coffee dates. If you're a woman that's not romantic, coffee dates are for you. If you don't really like deep, intimate, conversations, right? Maybe coffee date is for you. If you're a woman that also, let's say you prefer a generous man, men that initiate with coffee dates are not for you. If you're a lover girl and very romantic, men that initiate with coffee dates are not for you. In my mind, I see men that initiate with coffee dates as being on the opposite end of the spectrum of men that offer drinks. I feel like they're one and the same, but they're just on polar opposites of the spectrum. With the coffee date guy, he is not generous. I don't know what's going on, but it's giving situationship. It's giving don't really want to do much. It's giving 50-50. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, the guy that's trying to have a drink with you, he's trying to move very fast. It's giving he wants to do one thing with you. It's giving he's trying to be too intimate. Both are just so like the extremes for me. I'm more traditional and old-fashioned. Why can't we just like talk on the phone for a couple hours? I don't know, just for a little bit. Can you initiate with like a planned date? You come pick me up from my house, or you send an Uber for me, or you say, hey, let's meet at this time. We sit down and have dinner like adults and have a discussion. Is that too much to ask for? But it is for people that prefer coffee dates.
If you're a woman watching this video, would you prefer a coffee date for a first date, or a proper date, dinner dates or lunch dates, like a proper restaurant? For your first dates, which would you prefer? I would like to know your thoughts down in the comment section. And I want to ask again, when a guy asks you for a coffee date on your first date, how do you see him? I want to know what you think down in the comment section. I have few stitches to share with you all, then I'll come back and talk about my own opinion.
I've found that men that often initiate with a coffee.
So when I was in Mexico one time, I was using Tinder for dates. And the one guy that I did end up meeting, when we agreed to meet, I suggested an ice cream place. I will normally suggest ice cream as a first date or something along those lines when I'm meeting somebody for the first time that I've only been talking to online. For me, it's a great way to, one, see if this person is like who they say they are, check the vibe between me and this person, and also to like knock out questions that people normally ask, because when I'm trying to eat, I'm not trying to ask questions or answer questions. So that date went from ice cream to dinner, and then I Ubered home, which he paid for. He paid for the whole date. I can't say if he was generous or not, or if he's the type of man that goes 50-50 or not, because I did not speak to him again after that, literally. But I will say that sometimes context matters when it comes to like what types of dates you accept, which is not me saying accept coffee dates. I'm saying sometimes context matters. Also, in the earlier video, she mentioned that she will suggest dinner, and this is not me like saying that she's right or wrong or anything like that. Me personally, on a first date, I don't want to go out to eat. That's number one. Number two, I feel the same. I think I feel the same way how y'all feel about coffee dates. Like, that's how I feel about dinner dates. Like, if someone first suggests to me like, oh, let's go out for dinner, I actually think that's lazy. I think that that's lazy. There's so many things that you could do in a city that for somebody to say like, okay, well, let's go out for dinner or let's have lunch, to me, that is lazy. So I'm not accepting coffee dates and I'm not accepting dinner dates. And I don't consider myself to be bougie. I consider myself to be creative. And if somebody doesn't suggest something creative on a first date, on the actual first date, like I'm not talking about like if I've been talking to you online, I suggested ice cream so that we can actually meet each other. I'm talking about after that. After you've spoken to me, I've spoken to you, we've gotten to know each other, the things that you like and I like after that, the actual first date should be something that's more well thought out, because dinner to me is, as a suggested date, is lazy.
Men that often initiate with a coffee date,
So surprisingly, I disagree. And I love this creator. I love her content. So no shade to her whatsoever. I just have a different take. I personally prefer small meet and greets before like a big date. And primarily because like I'm an Aquarius. This is me speaking as me, not as therapist me with the 20 years experience. This is Aisha. I am not spending 2 hours of my time at dinner, at a skating rink, anywhere with someone that I haven't spent a small amount of time with to determine if they pass a vibe check, right? To make sure they look the way they say they look, they meet my bottom line criteria. I need to establish that before I agree to invest my time in this person. And I don't want to go on a date and find that out. Like, I don't need to find that out at dinner. I need to find that out at Starbucks so I'm not wasting my time at dinner.
in my experience, I've found that men that often initiate with a coffee date, somewhere along the lines, I realize that he has a 50-50 mentality. Or let's say I didn't discover that he has a 50-50 mentality. I realized that he was not generous.
I agree. I feel like the kind of man that is inviting a woman out on a very first date at a coffee shop is a man who is either trying to be cheap or a man who is going out on several dates and he's trying to save money on those dates. And so he's trying to find the most cost-effective option for dating a woman. What I find really interesting is I've watched videos here on TikTok where some people are like, I went out on a coffee date, is that the dude, he arrives there early and he's like sitting down with his coffee when she comes in and he's like, I'll sit in here and save the spot. Like, he won't even like get up and go buy her coffee. You're already trying to do the cheapest possible date option and you can't even buy her a coffee? It screams stingy. And to me, that's like a bad way to start off. If you're looking for a provider and a man can't at the very least provide you with a meal on the first date, I just see it as a red flag. I'm sure it could be different. He might have been used in the past, and y'all know how I feel about men always expecting you to pay for the sins of the other women. Like, everybody has used me for a free meal, so now I got to make you get a coffee date. Like, I hate that idea. And it's rare that a man goes from stingy in the beginning to all of a sudden he's generous. I feel the same way about men who want to come over to your place or want you to come over to theirs to cook for somebody on a first date. Like, we don't even know each other well enough. Why would I go into your home? Absolutely not. Like, it's always trying to be cheap. My thing is this. For the woman that he's truly interested in, he's going to go take her out, wine and dine her, and show her a good time. To me, the least amount of effort a man is willing to put in on a first date, that's how he really feels about you. In my opinion, I really believe that. Because if he can afford to take you out on a nice dinner and he doesn't, he gives you coffee, it's like him trying to like make you jump through hoops, make you prove yourself. I've also heard about this girl one time when she was talking about the man said, we're going to go Dutch on the first date. And if we have a good time, if I like you and all that, then I'll pay for the next date. Excuse me? Like, I gotta behave like some dog? Like, are you insane? No. When men start pulling out the hoops for you to jump through, don't ever do it.
Somewhere along the lines, I realized that he has a 50-50 mentality.
Now, I'm going to have to be one of those women who disagree. In my experience, I have always gotten the coffee men who knew what the fuck they was looking for and they're not here to play with you. And baby, that's exactly what I want. Had I came across this video in my 20s, I probably would have been in agreement. Simply because I can't even say I was looking for nothing. You know, my dating wasn't even really dating. I learned that I more or less was dating people based off of common interests, not really compatibility. In my 30s, it's based off of compatibility. And I can kind of see that within the first 30 minutes. I don't need you to invest your money in me. Like, I'm not in that stage. In my 20s, I was in that stage, baby. I could get fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner from a different man and could think nothing of not talking to them again simply because I wasn't interested, but I knew they were going to provide the meal. I could afford my own meal. I wasn't using men. I just didn't have the mind frame not to waste anybody else's time because that wasn't the focus. In my experience, the coffee men I have got have always been the men who know what they want. Most of them have already passed the whole stage. Most of them are looking for marriage, so they are dating with a purpose at this point. That saying where they say a man can get to know you and know right off whether or not he want to marry you, that is simply true because men are real simple. How you show up in your aura, how you show up dressed, if you show up on time, late, how you speak, how you smell, your conversation is enough for them to know if this is something they want to invest their time, energy, and money into from a coffee date. They don't need to try to converse with you with your mouth full of food. And you answering questions that aren't really true to you simply because you're on your second or third drink that they don't have no problem buying you. I feel like those type of dates kind of deteriorate you seeing the red flags from jump. Just simply a man spending all the money is enough to deteriorate a woman's mind thinking that, ooh, he really cares about me because he's spending this amount of money. And some of those men just move like that. Money really isn't an option. Some of those men have the mind frame of, I don't know when I'm going to leave this earth, and so I'm going to enjoy it. And so money is never an issue. That would deteriorate your mind frame of thinking anything. I just feel like a simple coffee date is enough. It's an easy way out for you to leave if you're not attracted to said person. It's an easy way out for you to know that, yeah, this man is kind or this woman is kind, but not really my type. It's an easy way to meet someone to see if this is something to further move on with it. I don't think that, and let me even be more honest. For the 50-50, would love a provider, not really have to do much. However, life isn't always easy. And if I should date someone to where things are good, money is good, and then we should hit a rough spot, I want someone who's 50-50. I want someone who's not looking at me with all the weight on my shoulders as if I'm supposed to do it all, when you clearly see I need a helpmate at this point. I want someone who could be a teammate with me if I should need a teammate at the time. I want someone who wants to give to me even if I can. I want someone who wants to do for me even if I can. I don't mind the 50-50 mind frame. I truly don't. I don't know if you've been out here and dated a lot of men who truly want to provide for you, and while some of those are decent men, a lot of those just want to control you. They don't want you to have any access to money. They don't want you to have any thing to do with anything. So if you should happen to want to leave or go on your own, you probably won't, because everything is wrapped into what he does. Give me the Coffedate, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can see it's really interesting because a lot of people are agreeing with it and some are disagreeing with it. And as I said, I'd like to hear your opinion down in the comment section. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If going out on a first date is appropriate, or going on the first date to a coffee restaurant or coffee shop is appropriate, or going to a proper restaurant is appropriate. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section. For me, I feel like going on a coffee date is a very casual dating or casual outing that's probably somebody I would already know, just want to catch up, let's quickly talk about something very important. Let's just sit and look and talk about something very important. I don't think I would take that as an appropriate first date. The first time you want to take me out and you're telling me let's just go casually to a coffee date. No, I will not really take you serious, because I feel like you don't even take me serious. Just my own personal opinion, to be honest. That is what I will feel. I feel like you won't take me serious because you're not going extra mile just to make a proper date, to be able to take me out to a proper outing. I'm not saying you should break the bank. I'm not saying you should do things that will be so expensive, but at least try to put effort in organizing a date, not just picking a coffee date for us to meet for the first time, irrespective of how we've been talking on the phone. That is what I think. I don't think it's appropriate for somebody who just wants to meet on the first date to just tell you, oh, let's just meet casually first. Let me see how you look. Let me see how you're doing. Then I will now have a proper date. I feel like you already downgraded me already. Like, you just gave me that. That was just so bare minimum. That is just my own personal opinion. And if you have anything contrary to that, it is fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But then that is what I think. I feel like some men should just, when they pick those kind of casual dates, they are really not really into the person. They just want to see, like, okay, let me just see how she really looks, if she's worth spending money on, she's worth my time. I feel like that's what it means. But then who am I to speak for all the women in this world? Anyways, that's my own personal opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. And that is it for today's video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment. I would like to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. And of course, I will see you all in my next video. Bye.